Pause it. There's too much video game news. Conclusion? ChillPoint!
I think that actually is my favorite movie of all time, now that I think about it.
I was so happy that a lot of people got your reference.
I know, yeah.
Oh, sneakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say I didn't.
I on purpose did not request Paul put in like references to it in the thing.
I didn't know that it was a sneakers reference.
It just sounded like a normal thing people say.
Well, no, when you said that you put a sneakers reference in, I was like, there's this bit that doesn't sound like how anyone would actually talk.
Yes. So that must be from a movie. Also, one of the lower thirds, I might be able to crash the whole damn system. Is also,
Right.
It's a line that Ben Kingsley's character says, that Cosmo says in the in the
Look,
movie.
I've seen Sneakers a couple of times because Beach will rewatch it a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have picked. I think even if I saw it like 2 days ago, I wouldn't have picked up on that.
I need to I've seen it a lot more recently. I find that when I watch a movie again and again, and I don't have a ton of comfort watches, but I do have like a few.
Sure.
And I find that when I see a movie again and again, that it gets more ingrained into, like, I start to remember more bits of it, and I start to remember how those bits like string together. And so things that I don't remember become more prominent because they feel new. And then they cement themselves, and then the next thing you know, it's like, I can't quote the movie chapter and verse, but what I can do is I can picture in my head all of these scenes, and then you get to that point where you're like, well, if I was watching it on like a rainy Friday, let's say, right, and it's like, I want to sit down, I want to watch this film. It's raining here in Victoria,
And it's Friday.
and it's on TV, so you can't fast forward or rewind, right? It's just broadcast. Then I would watch the whole thing end to end. I'd get up and get snacks during commercials, whatever. But because I'd be watching a recorded version of it, I would be very tempted to just be like, scrub, scrub, scrub. Okay, next scene that I remember, scrub, 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 like that kind of thing. And just scrub through and just try to pick up the stuff I don't remember as well and be like, a 2-hour movie went by awfully fast.
Ooh, I don't know if I would do that to a movie that I actually liked.
Right?
Yeah. I've
I'm
done
always
that. I've done that
tempted.
to TV shows that I like because, like, some of my comfort rewatches, I'm like, I really like these characters, but a lot of shows that I really like have had characters that start in a really bad place and they have to go through some really embarrassing shit to get to like that good part.
Right.
So sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I'll watch this again, and I'll hit like an episode where I'm like, oh, that's the episode where they do this thing, and no.
It's like I know what
Let's
happens.
skip that one.
I don't need to watch
I don't want to watch them do that again.
It's like when I watched She-Ra again during the pandemic. Like, I
Yeah.
just watched season 5.
There's just some stuff where you really don't want to watch Catra do that again.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I'll watch season 5. Actually, no. What I'll do is I'll watch these 8 episodes. Actually, I'll watch these 6. I'll watch these 4 episodes from season 5. I just want to watch these 4 episodes.
And you're like, was She-Ra not actually good? Or there's only 4 episodes that were good?
There's just a bunch of stuff where it's like, I don't care about all that other stuff. I just want to see this happen, and then I want to see Save the Cat, and then I want to see Heart Part 1 and Heart Part 2, and I just want to see that, and it's like, that's it. So yeah. Anyway.
Hey everybody. Oh, welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about video game news and also movies and TV shows.
And whatever else we want, because
Collectible
no
card
one
games.
can stop us.
It's true. There's nobody else here.
Collectible card games that are not Magic.
Yeah.
Because frankly, Beach and I do not play Magic.
Yeah.
And
We have too many other shows that
There's
are
so
about
many
Magic.
other places. If you want Magic, you're on the wrong channel.
This is not
You know,
Tap Chill
Twitch.
Point.
You go to youtube.com/LRMTG and you stay over there.
Don't come back.
Don't come back.
Wow. I didn't realize there was such hostility between the different YouTube channels. So yeah, let's go through some of the stories that made it into the episode. Starting with Cameron's story about this.
Potentially.
Ostensibly, it's about this new Resident Evil adaptation. And I haven't actually talked to Cam about this, but I get the feeling that this story was, Cam saw something about Resident Evil adaptation. So, some news.
Yep.
Saw this particular interview and then kind of got sidetracked into just because the story is mainly about this specific interview and sort of what that reveals both about the actual project, but also this interview and sort of aspects of that.
I can give you some insight into that because I did talk to Cameron after
yeah?
the show. Yeah. And what I can tell you is it was written very late. It's kind of like how I used to write stories more often
some stories
than not.
happen, yes.
Yeah, I've used to write stuff at 3 a.m. So
What do you mean used to?
I don't as much anymore. Not as much anymore.
Then why are you still up at 3 a.m.?
Because I'm coming down after having written stuff. So
At 2 a.m.
yeah, usually 1:30, 2 a.m. But anyway, no, he wrote it quite late. And he's like, and he asked me, he's like, did it hang together? I said, no, it definitely did. It definitely, and as I said to him, I'm like, it definitely comes off more of as though a piece of media criticism, and not like in the criticism like you suck ass. It's more of the idea of like, let's analyze what's being said in this article, and let's think about how, based on the things that are being said, let's also think about how that applies to fans of the Resident Evil franchise, like the gaming franchise and also the film franchise, and also like if there's an overlap there or not, and then also what people have to say about that, and how people even just relate to video game movies in the first place. Which I'm like, I think a healthy bit of media criticism, being able to say, like, when you reference somebody writing this article is like, I have to report on the news that's put in front of me of what we're being told about what could happen, which is Zach Kreger does not want to make Leon Kennedy's story for Resident Evil. He's like, I would rather do something that's not something that's been told in a game. Is kind of how he's relating it. And then Cameron comes along and reads the thing, and it's like, well, let's do a meta-analysis of that. Is that what we're being told is from the article? It's like, do fans actually deserve to have something put in front of them that they expect? Or should they be surprised? Or is it more fun to have a media property that explores a larger aspect or a different aspect or something else that's going on in the product that it's being related to?
It kind of all depends on who you're trying to approach, right? Like the idea of you're going to take an 80-hour JRPG, for instance, and turn that into an anime or whatever, and then it's going to feel very different.
Yes.
But are you actually trying to court the fans of that project, or are you trying to court new fans?
It's
Right? Like people who don't want to put that time in, but also would like to know the story of that thing. I think the Last of Us TV show probably works really good for both because it does other stuff from what I've heard. I'm never going to watch it. I don't need that much kind of terror in my head.
As an adaptation, it apparently works very well.
It's interesting. Like I feel it. Resident Evil actually is almost uniquely suited for this kind of analysis because, for whatever reason, I don't know why it has inspired so many people, but for whatever reason, I feel like Resident Evil has had like almost the most sort of diverse interpretations of it. Like, not only have there been a whole bunch of video games,
Right.
in some cases with sort of diverging timelines and things, but also there's been numerous movies, and some of which follow different, like the sort of Alice movies that were sort of the original ones with Mia Jovovich. But then there has been other one. There's a computer animated one. They've had reboots. They've had different things. Like, it's had so many different interpretations of the events of it.
Right.
And then there was the TV show that had a whole other different thing going on. And none of them were like that good.
Yeah.
Really, in total.
They weren't getting critical acclaim. Yeah.
And I think one could argue that Graham was talking about like seeing the story, and I'm sure at least one of the interpretations of Resident Evil has actually done the Resident Evil, like the mansion story from Resident Evil 1.
Right.
I think. Maybe not.
I couldn't tell you. Was that graphic that you put up with all the Resident Evil, like the split?
Yeah.
Were those all movies?
Yeah, those weren't just the movie. Those were all specifically like the Mia Jovovich movies, like the Alice movies.
I didn't know
There
there were
are
that.
other
I didn't know
ones.
there were
Yeah.
that many movies.
There's a lot of
I
them.
put my wife in a movie, then I did it 8 more times or whatever. Yeah.
The other fun thing is I saw somebody.
like an isekai
I think
novel.
it was somebody in the maybe somebody's in the comments for this thing was saying that they really like that they like the Resident Evil movies, that they're sort of their trashy watch that they
Sure.
enjoy.
Yeah.
But they're saying what's really fun is to watch them with an eye to when they came out. So it's like right after The Matrix came out, the next Resident Evil movie after that, she's doing all sorts of Matrixy stuff.
Yeah.
Right
okay.
after Mad Max came out, the next Resident Evil movie is like in the desert.
Right.
And then
Oh, so it's more like they're trying to do what seems like the hot concept at the time, but we're using the branding of Resident Evil to make our own.
like
Weirdly, you refer to
after-
like a pastiche almost.
after like the first Resident Evil movie, they've basically not paid attention to the video game. Like it's been an entirely divergent story from the
its
video
own
games.
universe.
Mm.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is fair because the video games are actually called Biohazard, right?
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Anyway,
Well, and I mean, I don't really understand the timeline of those video games either, but
I'm sure there's various YouTube videos where somebody's going through the timeline in excessive detail.
It's much like, though, like I said at the end of Checkpoint, that I'm like, if you've maybe there is something in the, because like Resident Evil to me, let's try this again. Resident Evil to me doesn't make any fucking sense because it's 8 games so far that.
well, mainline, I think.
Right?
I'm pretty sure
I
there's
guess Codename
spin-offs.
Veronica or like all these other
Yeah,
things.
there's
that are-
other things
yeah,
too,
yeah. It's
yeah.
just like, but there's like this series of games that are like where I'm like Umbrella Corp and Raccoon City and Stars and like that kind of, and then but then it's like, oh, but no, Jill Valentine isn't at the center of this or whomever else, but now we have Leon who's like, and it's a different style of game somewhat, it feels different, and then there's like that goes on for the president's daughter's been
there's-
kidnapped, and then it's like a man alone in a village and he's missing a hand, or I don't know what the fuck is up with Ethan or what any of that is.
Yeah, there's definitely not there's not really
any
a
connective tissue.
Well, there's certainly not a narrative that goes through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I think they're taking place in the same universe,
Right.
and certain characters show up, but like, it's
I've always looked at them
Yeah.
as kind of, because again, I don't
Eight-foot
I haven't played
vampires?
them. Well, okay, I tried to play the 3DS one once, but after I entered a room where the music would not stop being intense, even though there was nothing around, I kind of just put it away.
All right.
No, it was doing that, and it's like you're only supposed to be doing that when the monster's about. Shut up.
and so when there's like a zombie stuck behind a box or something.
Oh no! In this case, it was because I hadn't crossed to the other side of the room yet.
Oh.
There was literally nothing in that room. But I've always kind of pictured them as kind of like how you should maybe picture like monster movies, where it's like, yeah, for some reason that guy keeps showing up and terrorizing more people again, and
Yeah.
does it make sense? No,
Sure.
but that's what people are here for.
Yeah, I think they're at the point now where and especially in the more recent Resident Evil ones, like the Resident Evil Village or.
Whatever the next one is after that. Or?
Well, because like it's like Resident Evil 7 / or Village.
Yeah,
the
VII.
3 and 7.
Yeah, they're working on 9
and
now.
like that kind of stuff. Like it's sort of following a whole different idea. It's just there is, and like even like the T virus, or there's all sorts of other viruses, and it does different things whatever depending on whatever the circumstances are. Like it's
Yeah.
just basically monster thing.
Which is, I mean, just because when I think about that kind of like, if you're gonna make a game about. Your first game's about we have a virus that an evil corporation lets escape, and then it turns people into zombies, and then you have to fight the zombies, or else then you become a zombie or whatever. And I'm like, generally when you make a video game and you pick a setting, and that's kind of like your thing that you start with is that. growing beyond that and saying it's still the same video game is a very unusual thing, because most people would be like, well, it's actually has nothing to do with the T virus or these other things, or it's
Right.
like, well, then why is it well, so it's part of the universe, so it's a spin-off. No, it's a mainline series thing
Yeah.
that has nothing to do anymore with this other thing that we're talking about. So it's a reboot. No, it's not a reboot, because as you can see, it's now 7 and 8, you know, like
Yeah, Resident Evil is it's I mean it's probably closer to like a anthology series.
I
or
guess,
something.
yeah.
I mean, you don't like timelining anything, so I don't think it matters.
It shouldn't, right? But it's like, at least Zelda games don't have a Legend of Zelda 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
well,
10,
they do
11.
have a 1 and a 2.
I know, right? But they don't go 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's pretty clear that when you're playing them, it's like, oh, there's no way these things are... They're related, but they're maybe not that related.
Probably part of the reason why they branded Resident Evil 8, which people say it was 8, as like Resident Evil Village. Yeah.
Yeah, like they do. I actually think, because Village, it's like the VILL is supposed to be like the 8, which I think is really cool. The new one, 9, is, I think it's Requiem, and they turned the Q into the 9. Like they're not calling it 9, but they're hinting at, yes, this is the 9th one. And I kind of like it when games do that.
I mean, as somebody who, video game journalist, for lack of a better word, it is kind of nice, that you don't have the trying to figure out what the hell order the stupid games are supposed to be in.
There's that too, right?
What the release order.
But then I feel like then it becomes, that's where you get the good use of the colon, right? Where you're like, oh, it's a Resident Evil game. Like the game is called Requiem, a Resident Evil game. Like that kind of thing is how it should feel, is that this is, then when you see it, you're like, it's like saying, blank, a Hideo Kojima game. You're like, oh, I know what this is going to be. I know what this is coming out of.
They really should start calling them like Requiem, a Resident Evil story.
Yeah. Kind of feels like...
Just like I don't know,
this, a Twilight Zone episode, like
yeah.
that kind of thing. And then it feels like, oh yeah, it's part of... I love the idea of maybe it's always supposed to be more of an anthology series.
Mm.
And I mean... Looking at the DAO, that feels pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't think it's I think that's just what fans expect, is that it's not necessarily, some people talk about like Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
That's it's got the numbered settings have no connection to each other.
And yeah.
But anyway, but yeah. So anyway, this story is it's a worthwhile interview. Check it out and just sort of get this guy's to hear his sort of take on it. This whole this idea of people who are fans of the series, because I mean Resident Evil is also one of those, like I said, there's been so many adaptations of it, but I do feel like there's been that thing for like the original Mario movie or whatever, where it's like there's been adaptations of it, but a lot of the people doing the adaptations either don't care about what the actual movie, what the actual game was about,
right,
or actively dislike what the original game was about.
Okay.
And so they sort of try to go off on their own. So somebody who has affection for the original thing, I think is positive.
Well, it can be. I mean, like, I think it's neat to get an adaptation that's supposed to like show the basic story of a thing.
Yeah.
And if you take the basic parts of it and make a thing out of it, instead of trying to hit it beat for beat, you can still come away with something that works better in a movie setting than
exactly.
Setting.
You don't want to do it.
But at the same time,
the same.
If you're already like a heavy fan of a thing, then yeah, maybe you don't want another of that, or you don't trust that they'll do a good job of adapting a thing, because we've seen some video game movies that try to do that, and it's just like, this doesn't work well. It would have been better if you just made something new up. That
is a danger, yeah.
I mean, we've seen a lot of examples of that kind of thing, especially in movies and stuff, when it comes to like adapting Shakespeare plays, and like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet, right? Where it's like, I'm going to do this to Romeo and Juliet. Is it a good movie or not? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I know that a lot of people do talk about it, and
I liked it.
Yeah. So, but it's like, as a there was also a new Much Ado About Nothing. I think it was all filmed in black and white. I think Denzel was in it, Nathan Fillion, and like some other people.
That was the Joss Whedon one.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
they filmed it like in a weekend at his house.
Yeah, and it's like, so you've got that where it's like, what about another, like, and then a lot of just things like I think She's the Man is technically like an adaptation of Twelfth Night.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an adaptation of one of them.
Yeah, and a lot of those kind of things where it's like, well, what if you could take this story and if you reimagine it in a different way, like Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
I mean, it's especially with stories you're talking about like Shakespeare or short stories that have been adapted so many times.
Yeah.
Doing it sort of rote again is less interesting.
Yeah. Thus, Kenneth Branagh's
Yeah.
Hamlet being like, oh, this doesn't look like, it's a dreary looking place and everything
Kind
sucks.
of
And
depends on what you're looking for, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you really do want a thing that really stays true to the source material. But some people think the source material is so utterly precious that nothing should ever be changed about it. And I don't think that's right either.
Mm-hmm.
As a side note, I did, Cam called out, the most of the graphics in this were ones that Cam requested, including, the Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet and the Starship Troopers,
right.
which I always love to talk. I always love not necessarily to talk about, but one of the aspects of Starship Troopers that comes up all the time when you talk, it's like, in this case, Cameron's like, sometimes it's better not to be a fan, so you're not beholden, and this kind of stuff. And Starship Troopers I love the discourse around it because there are so many people who say, that the original book by
Heinlein?
Robert
Heinlein?
Robert Heinlein
Yeah.
is this like, it's this sort of glorifying kind of fascism thing.
Yeah.
And then they made this movie.
Yeah.
I forget what his name, the director.
Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven made the movie and kind of parodying this
Yeah,
thing.
basically
and doing
saying
it.
by holding up exactly what was in the text is saying, actually, I'm making it look like it's completely fucking crazy.
But then there are an equal number of people who say the book version was the parody.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
movie version didn't realize that it was a parody and just did it straight. And that's the one that's
Misunderstanding the text.
espousing sort of fascism.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's really confusing when you read what people
And
think of this movie.
so like both
All right.
People think that one or the other didn't understand that it was supposed to be a parody, and in fact did it real. But
God.
it was
yeah,
very, it's very
the
funny.
argument that people get into on that is weird to watch.
Though I wonder if maybe one of those groups is arguing in bad faith. But regardless,
Anyway.
I thought Fallout was also another thing. Heather and I actually, because I sat down to watch it, and Heather was sitting beside me, so she watched it as well.
Yeah, and I actually watched it because it was interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
you
really
didn't.
good.
You didn't say you should turn this off. Not the series.
We did watch the series.
We
but
made a
were
decision to watch
watching-
that together.
We were watching the behind the
scenes.
scenes thing that we found on YouTube.
Yeah, Warner Brothers did a whole like
30-minute
compilation of their like 3-minute, 4-minute bits.
It's really
of-
interesting actually because the whole they spend a lot of time talking about how actors used to stare at tennis balls, but now they have like these foam head versions of real things. But what they actually have is actors inside like really weird bulky foam things to pretend to be monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun to watch.
It was really neat to see like here's how we're going to do it, and then we'll put the effects in later. But they're like, but now what we're trying to do is put a lot into. We're trying to do as much like the gulper that shows out of the
Right.
water. It's like that is a puppet. That is later enhanced by more
Right.
stuff, but it's like, but that puppet it's not just like, oh, I cut a couple circles out of whatever. It's like literally the thing is terrifying looking when you see it.
Wow.
They just had to add more stuff to make it like more watery and like
to not look like a puppet.
mucusy and shit. Yeah, so it doesn't look like a puppet.
I didn't. I would assume that would have been just straight CG. but
It's a really
cool.
it's a really cool thing. But what it also pointed out in the because everyone's talking about and Todd Howard they talked to him during it because he's an executive producer, so they talked to him during the behind the scenes, and he talked about how like years ago somebody came to him like Fallout 3 era and said we'd love to do a TV show based on Fallout, and he was like, well, let's have a conversation. He says, and those conversations went nowhere because it just wasn't clear to us that what was being put in front of us made any sense for what was going on in Fallout. And then years later, he's like, I got to know Jonathan Nolan, the guy who made the Fallout TV series this time, and realized that we both liked the work that each other was making, and then that let us actually have like some real conversations. And Jonathan Nolan is a massive fan of Fallout, apparently.
And I mean, Fallout is such a. I mean, of course, there is a story in Fallout, but it is such a RPG like sort of first person narrative.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of going around and finding all these stories and sort of doing all this stuff that like you wouldn't necessarily want a Fallout movie or TV show to follow the plot of one of the games.
No.
Because it would be impossible for it to match
there's
your
so
experience
much-
of playing the game.
Yeah.
There's so much interesting stuff that's hinted at in the games that is more interesting to go and explore, I think.
And it would be just like, and following the games would be just like wandering around aimlessly, finding something, and then going somewhere else. Like it's not, but of course the setting for Fallout is so rich and full of cool stuff that there's all sorts of neat stories you can tell. And I think they did a great job. I'm very interested to see what will happen.
Yeah.
In season 2,
It's,
yeah.
it's really interesting to watch, like, because a lot of these behind the scenes things for really big projects now, especially like really impressively done projects, show you things like, oh, we have all these puppets and we have we're trying to make the world around us. And it's interesting to me to go from an era where we used to talk about how to really see like a great actor is someone who pulls you into believing that the world around them is what they see when they don't. And now it feels like we're transitioning over to this thing of like, well, we really to get the actors to really pull out as best as they can, we want to make the world around them exactly everything, so they have things to react to and they have all this stuff going on.
Which is sort of like what it was originally.
I know, right? But it's like such a weird.
And
you realize that we do actually need all that stuff.
I think there's a lot of people who saw those brief snippets, those minute-long things, or the pictures or whatever of Sir Ian McKellen dressed as Gandalf sitting on a stage, quietly weeping to himself when he realized that he was talking to like 11 fucking tennis balls.
And you couldn't figure out, yeah.
And he was just like that kind of thing of like, I'm an actor. Like I'm an actor. I act with other actors. What the fuck am I doing here? And I think that is probably one of those things that's I've probably spoken to a lot of creators to be like, we need to do a better job of giving these actors something that feels like they're in a real place. Like they did a lot of filming in Fallout on a volume, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah,
because
we're seeing a lot more of that now.
It's very obvious that when they're in the vaults and they're in like the fields and they're farming and there's like the vast expanses of whatever, but that of course that's all be on film. That when they pull back and they show, oh, it's just a giant screen and it's like it's not actually a thing. It's just all like it's all real films. And I'm like, no, you're literally showing the volume.
Yeah,
like,
but in the context of the show, it's supposed to be a volume.
You're supposed to be on a volume. And I'm like, oh, what a great use of the space that you already have to be able to be like, we know it's fake and we're showing how fake it is.
For some reason, I keep thinking about behind the scenes of Fallout. The first thing I keep thinking about, and I'm almost 99% sure this isn't how they did it.
Yeah.
But just seeing Walter Goggins.
Yeah, it's the ghoul.
Just behind the scenes, he just had like his nose is just painted green.
Yeah.
Oh no, they put little dots around his nose. Actually,
and it's like a prosthetic thing as well, like
so
that
like
fills it up.
you can see that like where it is they're gonna cut away, but it's really weird to see it that way after you've watched like a whole show.
Because 95% of his face is excellent makeup, and then they just have to mark.
Yeah, they showed off part of getting his makeup done and how they were like it's really thin, so you can actually see his expressions really well. And I'm like, yeah, makeup people go real hard.
Which really reminded me of watching him have it done. It really reminded me of Saturday Night Live because how the SNL makeup team, I watched a bunch of the like behind the scenes stuff, how their makeup team is like, we have head casts and then we do up makeup that's supposed to go on people's face. We do it up on the head cast. And so that when they have to sit down and get it put on their face real fast, that we can kind of layer this stuff on real quick.
Right.
And so you have a lot, like 90% of the latex work is done and all we're doing is smoothing out and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have no idea how long he might have spent in the chair for getting made up like the ghoul. But I have to imagine that when he came in, a lot of it's like, okay, let's get you squeezed into your thing, and then let's get the layers up over your head. Okay, now let's actually, let's actually paint
maybe
and,
it depends
and
on
blend,
the budget they have for Fallout is probably huge.
Yeah, and he probably doesn't need to
and
be.
It is traditional for actors to come in and just get everything done.
But it takes like 4 to 6 hours, right? And
I
it's
mean, they
Yeah.
talk about that on like TV shows.
Yeah.
That, like the first season, the
TNG.
or like the first season, the aliens, whoever's playing aliens and stuff, will be in makeup for like 4 hours every morning.
Yeah.
And then by the second season, they'll have worked out a better, like it looks the same on camera, but they have like a better system for
Yeah.
it. So it's like, yeah, we can now do it in an hour.
Yeah, they put on this hood and then they blend everything
Did
and it's all perfect.
See a short video someone had done where they like put saran wrap on their face, and then they did their makeup on it, and then they took it off, and then they like made a show of being like, oh, I'm in a hurry, and they just went like with it, and it doesn't work, but
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
like that
I
like,
love
concept.
that idea. Anyway, let's move on to okay. So the next story is talking about that AI Riot music video, which we basically
We went
covered
over
last
We
that
beat that
last
to
week,
death.
so I don't
Yeah.
really think we need to do that again.
The only small aspect of it that we didn't really, that people didn't see was the actual song, because we didn't really play it because we didn't want to
Get
dinged.
dinged.
get dinged on it or anything.
It's okay, you're not missing much.
But the song was also AI generated and also really stupid if you actually look at the lyrics. It's
Yeah.
like talking, it's just not good. And that's basically all there is to it. I don't think there's that much more to that, except this idea that, the
Executive producer of League of Legends on X the Everything app saying, "Oh, this was a creator-made piece that we referenced on." It's like, almost certainly you guys paid for this, and you're
what
trying.
does creator made? Anyway.
Yeah, somebody paid somebody for this, almost certainly.
Anyway, moving on to the Pokemon TCG cards being given away in Japan.
Oh Christ!
How could anybody possibly have guessed that this would happen? Except that it basically happens every time they do a big giveaway.
Yeah.
Tie-in with Happy Meals, I feel like.
Well, and Heather and I had a conversation about offline about the nature of why does a McDonald's Pokemon card matter? Because it was a very short conversation, but it was basically like, these cards aren't worth that much in the secondary market. The one that's the most is maybe $20 odd, 28.
I think I saw something that said the most expensive one was 28. I mean, chances are they'll go up in price when they stop being given out.
Well, and they only made it through one day.
Yeah, so I guess there's
But
that.
if it's collectible, then it's collectible.
And that's the other thing that, because I thought about it for a while, and I'm like, well, I also remember from back in, if you walk into a like an antique store or something, and you will see and this is even like 10, 20 years ago, you would see McDonald's toys from the 80s, ones that I owned, like the Mario jumping Goomba and like the little like Pogo Mario 3 whatever. It's like, and those are $25, and I'm like, why? But it's because this got produced at a certain time.
Well, and it's a McDonald's toy, so there's like a specific collection of McDonald's toy collectors as well.
So you might be interested. So you might be interested in this if you're interested in Pokemon, or if you're interested in limited edition McDonald's.
I put this more on the feed of Pokemon, because we also had that story with the museum and how that also wrecked things.
It went out of control.
And so I really put a lot of this on the fandom, but because it's just not.
Well, because it's also not like we're just talking about people scalping, and everyone's like, "Oh, those goddamn scalpers!" It's like we don't actually know that everybody was a scalper. There might just be people out there who are also collectors.
I forget who I was talking to this about, but I think I like the system we were talking about. What they should do is you get the Happy Meal,
Yeah,
you eat the Happy Meal,
yeah,
you give them like you show that the Happy Meal has been eaten and like give them your trash or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you get the card.
right.
Oh, I honestly
which is
think,
like-
You wanna get 50 cards so that you can scalp them? We're gonna sit here and watch you eat 50
yeah,
Happy Meals.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think McDonald's should have to pay for more employees to just sit there and be judging at people.
and it's and I mean that's like because otherwise people be like they come into McDonald's and they would go sit down and they'd open up their backpack or they get out a garbage bag and they just start dumping all their fries and shit in there and then they would walk downstairs and show them the empty packaging and like great, here's your card, like great, I'll take another 10 Happy Meals and go upstairs and dump all that shit out in the garbage bag and then tie up the garbage bag and leave it in the McDonald's because what the fuck do they care?
Yeah, I've seen some people when it comes to the
No, we have to
story,
see you eat it.
Yeah.
they'll mention things like, okay, so if I go to McDonald's and I ask to just buy the toy, they will let me. That's not. I'm uncertain of how common that knowledge is, because that was never like a thing we had written up on the menu when I worked there, and it was never a thing that went. And I mean, I was like 16, so it was a very long time ago. But it was never like there were people who definitely came in who were ordering food because they wanted the associated toy.
Right.
And I'm not sure how many people actually know that that's a thing, but I know that's a thing where we live. I also don't know if that's literally a thing anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, of course, there's also the like, just, I want to get this. I will pay for the Happy Meal. Don't make the Happy Meal.
Yeah. There's that too. Like, what do you want? I want a Happy Meal. What do you want in it? I want a hamburger Happy Meal with apple slices and a drink. It's like, great. What do you want to drink? Nothing. What do you want? The apple slices. You can keep those. What do you want in your hamburger? I want no bun,
Yeah.
no
want-
this,
No.
no that.
No-
Just fucking mustard.
No
Now-
burger with no beef.
Yeah.
Now, let's say that is a thing in Japan, that they could just go up and say, hey, I just want to buy the card.
Yeah.
I don't know what the cultural pressures are there. I know what the peer pressure and the feeling of embarrassment if you're a certain age and you try to go into a McDonald's and you're just like, I want to just buy the toy.
There's
Feels
that too.
like.
Yeah.
Considering like the giant crowd that was at that McDonald's, like there was some pictures.
Yeah, I feel like
like-
shame is not a...
Like, yeah, I feel like
Maybe not
the
a
shame of like,
consideration.
oh, I'm at a McDonald's when you get the toy. Like that river has been crossed.
Everybody also operates at a different level because some of those videos were like there was a dude who was clearly in line. He was collecting like multiple bags and multiple bags and multiple bags. And other guy was like, there was somebody filming this, and another guy kind of came out of line and was like accosting him, which made me feel like the one guy was being like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like it's clearly the body language and everything is like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "What do you mean? Like, what are you doing? We're all in line to buy this." But you bought 40 of these things, or however many. Like, we're all saying 40 Happy Meals because somebody tried to buy 40 Happy Meals.
I am
But
surprised that they didn't have a limit.
yeah, and
But I guess it is probably to do with the fact that you're buying it. It's probably one comes per meal.
yeah, or it is. I don't even know if it's a Happy Meal pack in. It might just be that if you buy a burger, then you get a card. Like, you know how the Monopoly promotion works here, where it's like
Yeah.
if you buy fries, a certain size always gets you the thing. So, you know, or if you buy a
I
drink,
mean, generally
a certain
when you're
size.
talking about McDonald's toy giveaways, it's
Happy
associated with the
Meals.
Happy Meal.
Yeah, but
Because
I'm
it's
not.
meant for kids.
I'm not really sure what it is, but and who knows? But ultimately, yeah, the way I think that, I mean, if you really wanted to be sure that you weren't going to run into trouble, you make it so that people buy the thing and stuck to the packaging is a code that you have to call in for, and then in 6 to 8 weeks they mail you your cards.
Right.
And that's awful too, because that also means that people will still just go and buy a ton of shit and rip all the codes off and leave it. It doesn't. There's no
Yeah,
real
that
good limit.
doesn't really solve
Yeah,
an issue.
And us trying to sit here and be like, well, how do you actually solve the idea of
I think it
preventing
literally
waste? It's you don't do the promotion this way at
comes
all.
down to if you want to do promotions with Pokemon, sure, don't give away Pokemon crap.
Yeah.
Or do it in a way like if you're gonna give away Pokemon stuff, you know, just do it in either like at the Pokemon store or like, and there's going to be a big lineup and
Yeah.
it'll be a big promotional thing.
Or let people just buy it on their own. Like, just be like, I went to McDonald's and it's like, how many cards? I'm here I'll buy a hamburger. Great. You bought a hamburger. You can buy up to 5 cards. How many do you want? I want 5 cards. Awesome. End of transaction.
Cards are $10 or $50 each.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when we went to when we were the first time we were in Japan, in 2012, we went to the Pokemon Center because it was New Year's and they had a New Year's promotion, and we're waiting in line, and I'm like, well, I guess what I'll do is we'll get the big stuffies. And
yeah, I mean that's what everyone was there for
we're all
because that
there
was the
for.
promotion.
Massive lineup of people. Actually, no, I guess not that massive a lineup, but a lineup of people.
It was a very well respectable line.
Yeah.
Of quiet people who were just there to pick up a thing and buy
Yeah.
a thing, and everyone was very orderly.
And I'm not fluent, and I did not have translation apps, but as I was staying there, the person in front of me, they were asked a question, and the person in front went Nigo. They put up 2 fingers, and the person said, okay, and they wrote a thing down, they handed it to them. And then I got asked the same question, and I was trying to figure out what I was being asked, and I said, and then I finally realized what I was being asked, and I said, oh, Ichigo, like just one. And they're like, just one? And they were like, really like, just one? And I'm like, yeah, just one. And what that was for was the set of 3, 1 set of 3. The person in front of me had bought 2 sets of 3. Mm-hmm. There were people who were going to buy the thing that I think had even gotten more. There was no set limit on how many you could buy, but there was kind of a set limit over how much you could carry because they were big.
Yeah, there was that. When we went last time, there were a specific kind of TCG card set had dropped.
Yeah.
And so they had all of those cards just at the counter for when people, but those had a limit. You were only allowed to buy like 10 packs or something.
And when we got up to the counter, they asked us too. They're like, did you want cards? We're like, no.
I think that was surprising for them.
Yeah, they thought we were there for the cards. It's like, no, we just want this stuff.
I'm imagining that, he said, the guy says something and you're like, one, and then you get to the front and they just like give you like a dog.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was saying I wanted, so yeah. I mean, how that worked is I said I wanted 1, and then I went up and I paid, it was like $50 or something, or $60.
Yeah, the way it was essentially you lined up to get into the store, you talked to a person, they gave you a ticket, you got to the cash, you paid that person, they gave you a thing, you got to the out, like where,
and then they
where
sent
you're
you out
about
of the
to-
store.
where you were going to leave, you showed the person whatever, and then they gave you however many things, and then you could just go. Like, it was very
and then you go
this
down
is
an alley
all anyone is here
and
for.
there's a guy there.
Yeah. It was really weird because it really felt like I've given you a ticket, and then I gave you $50, and then you gave me a receipt, and then you pointed me out the door, and I'm like, where is my shit? Like, what did I just pay for?
You just bought a receipt.
I guess. And then I walked out the door, and they asked to see my receipt, and I showed them, and they pointed me in the other direction, and we walked over to another store that had all the stuff in it, and then they handed me the thing, and I was like, great, and they marked off the receipt, and then we got to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, it's really...
Like, it felt very organized for a line. I don't think I've been in a line as organized as that.
Yeah. And I mean, McDonald's is not, like, it's so stupid, but the point what I was making was that McDonald's is an international, like, it's worldwide toy distribution network. They are very good at doing this kind of stuff, and they don't have a way to address the scalping problem.
Although it's also like McDonald's is a worldwide food distribution network.
Yes.
Yeah.
The distributing of toys isn't really part of, I mean, it should be, I guess.
It's all goods, right?
Yeah.
When I worked there, remember you basically get boxes like you do with all your other stuff, and we'd set one box down off to the side, and then that's just where you grabbed stuff to throw into the bag for the Happy Meal. And it was also it was really annoying too. It was because it was something like, oh, hey, check out the display that shows all of the toys for this cool promotion we're doing, and there's like 8 of them, and they form a pirate ship or something, or maybe they're themed that way. But we only got like
the ratio.
We only get like 2 for a couple of weeks, and then later we'll get 2 more. And so you have people showing up being like, I want to buy the whole set, and you're like, I
tricky dicky.
don't
You have to
have the
you have
whole
to keep
set.
coming back.
Yeah.
That's how they get
I
you.
mean, that's part of the promotion, right? They want people to come in and buy stuff.
Yeah. So constantly come in and do it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of people wanting
Oh, we
other
missed the part
people
about
to come and buy
Uniqlo, though.
stuff. Oh, right.
Uniqlo's making Pokemon TCG t-shirts.
Which is
Ta-da!
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a Uniqlo eventually.
People are very excited.
We're supposed to get a Uniqlo on the island.
People here in Victoria are very
sometime
excited.
this by the end of the year, I think.
Yeah. Not an IKEA or an Apple store because fuck the island, I guess. But we are going to get a Uniqlo at
I'm
some
still
point.
pretty happy about
I'm
the Uniqlo.
hoping it's going to be a large Uniqlo because they have two sizes. They have regular and they have large.
Beach found out a lot of things.
Now who's getting greedy?
Yeah.
I mean,
More choice.
But yes, so there's this game that has come out called Powland, which now
blonde.
I think, to be clear, there's like all the headlines and stories around this, and including ours, is like this, like, aha, Pal World now has to deal with somebody copying them. Isn't that funny? To be clear, Pal World has not like talked about this at all. And if you look at Powland, Pal World has nothing to worry about.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, they probably don't care.
like Pal World does not care.
Yeah.
It's just mostly just kind of people are just like, hee, this is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a thumbing their nose at this kind of dumbass things that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, Powland, it looks like a pretty dumb thing. It doesn't look like a very well-made game, and is made by a company, I forget what their name is.
Boggy Soft.
Boggy Soft.
God, we
that's it.
worked so hard to find that.
Boggy Soft.
We were like, what's the name of the company? Buggy Soft?
Wasn't that
Bougie Soft.
That's
Booger
the,
Soft.
the publisher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who the other two games that they've made are the Only Up, but not the Only Up that you think of.
Yep. Yep.
And a game called Thief Simulator.
Yeah. Thief Life
Right.
Simulator?
Thief Life Simulator.
Yeah, so-
Which is a little too on the nose. But yeah, it's it is mostly just showing, and I mean, a couple people in the comments were talking about how they should play it on Watch and Play, and yeah, maybe they will.
Yeah.
Or
It's,
maybe they won't, because
Although
maybe
it's
they
not
don't need
even
to
on
give that
sale.
the time of the day.
It's not even on sale anymore.
Oh, the sale's already over.
So it'd be like $10 or something, or
Christ.
$12 instead of $4.
I'm just saying, there's plenty of stuff on Steam that isn't
Exactly.
that isn't great, but also isn't maybe trying to pretend to be something else.
And then finally, for in the actual episode, the Nintendo is working with the Interstate Scholastic Esports Alliance, which is a bit of a mouthful of a name.
some American thing.
It is, yeah. It's I think we've talked about this a little bit in that in the past couple of years, the idea of sort of scholastic esports, so esports as an actual recognized
Intramural kind of.
intramural
usually
thing.
through
Yeah.
high schools or something,
Yeah.
right?
has
Yeah.
become a bigger thing, and yeah, Nintendo of America partnered up with them. We didn't talk about it in just the little coming up thing, but they're apparently going to be. I think it's mostly not like they're not. I mean, maybe they're doing some hardware, but it's mostly like they're providing like accounts and games and
Yeah.
stuff.
Codes
like
and
NSO
stuff.
Online and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're actually providing hardware, but they're
Yeah.
definitely providing a bunch of that kind of stuff. So that's cool. And as we said in the coming up, an interesting seems like a bit of a departure, or maybe it's. I mean, Nintendo. It's always hard to tell. They've got a very mercurial relationship
Yeah.
with esports.
I would say when it comes to a lot of esports venues, especially ones that aren't like just run by we make fighting games, so we've made an esports tournament around it,
Yeah.
but like ones that showcase a lot of games, those events want to be able to just play those games and do whatever they want, and Nintendo is not that kind of group. And so to watch them partner, to say, oh, we're partnering with this group, I'm like, and I think there's been other cases where they put out a thing that's like, oh, you can partner with us, but you got to fill out like these forms and like agree to a bunch of things, and like it's all about more of the control of their IP and their property.
Nintendo can't
Yeah.
give up. And so, and especially, like you're saying, a lot of these esports things are sort of a third party organizations that are doing this. And Nintendo, they can't give the assurances that Nintendo, and I guess the idea that this is associated with the actual sort of Scholastic thing, presumably there are certain levels of conduct and things that are kind of baked into the whole system. That probably fits with Nintendo's ideas better than just the pure esports stuff.
Which is weird, right? Because it's like this Interstate Scholastic Esports Alliance doesn't sound to me that like it is. It doesn't sound to me like it's some sort of conglomeration of schools that got together to say, like there's like a teacher at every school who's like a representative of this ISEA, who is like, I'm going to do my best to look after my students, to ensure fair play, to do like all that kind of stuff. I don't know who at the high school level controls high school football, for example, in the United States. If there is if there are state-run organizations that then all try to work together to be like at the secondary level or at the primary level or whatever, like if there are organizations that are like, we organize this within schools, not as a you can play for a team, because the same with like soccer and everything else everywhere. It's like you can play for teams that exist outside of that whole network.
There are I'm pretty sure in certainly in football and stuff, there are state-based or state organizations and then national organizations.
Because I know that in Canada, like when I was growing up in Medicine Hat, we had two different school districts. We had Medicine Hat.
Medicine and Hat.
Yes, we had the Medicine Hat school district, but they also had the private Catholic school district, right?
Yeah.
But all three high schools in Medicine Hat, not a big place, but all three high schools in Medicine Hat all had sports teams, and those sports teams competed with each other.
Right.
And that was that was kind of how that worked. And then occasionally you would have regional schools getting it, but that was all the school districts all understood that you're going to have sports that are going on between everybody there. And I'm like, that was baked into the activity at the school level. So it's the kind of thing where I'm like, it's not private. It's not like League of Legends running, their own thing, or with Dota and the International and all that kind of stuff, where it's like, this is all privately operated and it's run by a group and a company, but it's all private people who have an interest in maintaining this thing, as opposed to, we're trying to provide opportunities for kids to play these games through the schools because we think that it's an important part of a growth and development for a student, as opposed to, we're trying to promote kids playing these games because we want them to play our fucking games. Like, that kind of attitude is very different.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is, the esports, sort of scholastic esports, it's just sort of, acknowledging that it is such a big thing, and it is a legitimate career path for
now.
People. Yeah, I mean,
we keep seeing esports kind of shrink and have its own ups and downs. I think it's pretty cool to have it at a school level, if only for the idea that then hopefully you're getting people to kind of learn sportsmanship and stuff, and not having to learn that at a solo thing by joining a team.
And if you're the kind of kid who's like, I'm not going to play soccer, or I don't like doing those things, or I'm unable to participate in those things, you don't get the exposure to that kind of competitive whatever, that then if you're going home and playing whatever games you're playing at somebody and you're acting shitty because other people are acting shitty to you, it's like, that's not a great educational thing either, right? It's like, what if we could instill that we already know kids are going to go play video games at home, and if they're acting like shitheads to each other in the lobbies because that's just a natural state of, I'm angry and I'm doing whatever, and it's like, well, what if we can bring that into the schools and be like, we're going to help support you in that, we're going to provide maybe some emotional and mental support with that too. That would be really great.
And it is just
it's not the school I know.
And it is just but there's this aspect of sort of just recognizing the reality, right? If you've got sort of intramural I mean, obviously football is really big, but you do like intramural, whatever, field hockey,
Yeah.
or something,
Basketball.
but you look at, it's like if you look at the number of people who are playing and the number of people who are watching and the amount of money that is involved in esports
Yeah.
versus some of these other sports, the rationalization for not allowing it, even like versus like say chess,
Yeah.
the rationalization for not allowing it or not having it in school becomes less and less, and it's like, the reality of the world is that is a legitimate thing that people can be doing.
Yeah, we've created competition around it. I mean, we've created competition around kids playing musical instruments at each other.
Yeah.
Like
Battle
that's
of the Bands.
well, I mean, like the Rotary Club has the Rotary music programs where they have bands competing with each other, but they also have like individual kids who are taking lessons can also go to compete to like who played this piece of music the best, and then the judges
that kind
rate
of
you,
thing.
and then you get a certificate, and you're like, I was the best
That's
this year.
way less interesting than the whole.
Yeah.
They just throw instruments at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
Anyway, also the small thing about this, I'm surprised, like Interstate Scholastic Esports Alliance, I'm surprised it's not like National Scholastic Esports Alliance. I feel like the word interstate I don't hear the word interstate that often outside the context of like crime.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Like esports
interstate-
across state lines.
Interstate trade, interstate highways.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Interstate highways, interstate trade.
So starting up something.
I guess interstate only implies like several states. It doesn't necessarily imply national.
Yeah,
every state.
To try to pull something off nationally is a lot harder.
Right.
And then you would have to get a whole bunch of people to agree to things and set up stuff. And it's generally a lot easier to start with a smaller group, see how that goes, work on that, and then if people like get really into it, then maybe they also want to join because they see what's going on over there, and then you can get stuff to grow as opposed to trying at like a higher level to do everything. That's so much more work.
And Maricat says 25 states are currently joined. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to a couple stories that didn't make it into the episode. So here's one that not necessarily spent a lot of time on, but just touching on it to let you know that we know about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Crafton has unleashed the next salvo back and forth with the whole Subnautica 2 malarkey.
Okay.
I think malarkey might be an appropriate kerfuffle, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Circumstance.
Wang dang doodle.
Yeah, the whole Subnautica 2 Wang Dang Doodle. And so and we didn't do a story on, like, obviously this is, it's something that we are definitely following. We didn't do a story on this because, to be honest, there isn't, like, they basically reiterated,
Yeah.
so this is, they fired the people, they did the statement, the guys from Crafton, or guys from
Unknown
Worlds made their statement, and then the guys from Unknown Worlds are doing a lawsuit.
Right.
And then they did the lawsuit, and then there's the filing for the lawsuit. Now Crafton has done their filing for this lawsuit. So this is that's
Right.
the
Right.
they've done
So-
their response. So this is the stage we're at now is Crafton's legal response to the lawsuit.
Right. So
Which
the
is-
update is everyone's done their paperwork.
Yeah.
And now we're all
they've-
reading it.
Yeah.
I mean, by and large, and the thing is, like, and that's the position I think we're going to be in for a while now, right? It's like no one's
Likely. I mean,
because everyone's lawyered up, and no one will want to speak publicly anymore,
and they shouldn't.
And so,
that's like
Yeah.
when you get those stories where people keep saying shit even though while they're in the middle of a thing,
It's great for
It's
us.
good for us,
Yeah.
but it's really bad for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should not be doing that.
So
but-
we're going to be in a position of like now Crafton has filed their stuff and their response will contain all of the points that they want to make to be like, here's how the case
there-
looks from our perspective. And now we're going to have lots of articles about
Anything
analyzing what that means.
interesting other than like, no, we definitely didn't fire them
well, it's
because of whatever. They definitely weren't doing their work.
They-
and,
they
like the
weren't
same
doing-
things that they were claiming before, or
yeah. There's the and that's the thing. Like there's the main the main the main thrust is the same. Basically, Crafton is like this game wasn't even ready for early access.
Okay.
The reason that's why we didn't release it, not because there's
there's a whole bunch of money we'd have to give people.
That theoretically there was this money that could have been on the line, and so where you fall on this in terms of who's right, who's wrong, largely depends on one, how much you believe that, and two, what you think people expect from early access. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Crafton has a point.
Yeah.
That even that a sequel to a game, a highly anticipated sequel to a very well received game,
Yeah.
even if the original game did spend a lot of time in early access,
Yeah.
people will be expecting the sequel to come out of the gate with more than what the original game came out of the gate with.
Right, because we have an expectation that you've created your world, you've created the devices that belong in that world, you created the interactions that you want to see. You know what the gameplay loop is supposed to feel like.
And so Crafton was like, if we promote this thing, big splash, this is Subnautica 2 early access release.
Yeah.
Boom. And it's like there's like 10 different fish and one biome.
Yeah.
Or two
Oh,
biomes
yeah,
is
right.
what they got.
Yeah.
People aren't gonna like it.
No, it'll be a tech demo.
People are gonna be and
Yeah.
Crafton's point is that there might be some sales.
Right.
And in fact, the argument being there might be enough sales to get them over this line to
Right.
get the bonuses. But it's going to ultimately damage the brand.
Right.
And they aren't going to actually get the long-term sales.
Yeah.
How much of that is true and whether it was indeed as problematic or as bad as Crafton says. Crafton says, actually in the things they say, at the pace of development, it would be like 30 years
Right.
to finish the.
And they do say that they had that Crafton joked about it, or the team did, but somebody joked about the fact that this will be in development for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
oof.
And they're saying that like we invested in Unknown Worlds not just because we want Subnautica 2,
Right.
because we want Subnautica 3 and 4.
Right. That's fair.
as well.
Right, they want this to be a larger franchise, and
So
Yeah. My feeling about
I didn't play Subnautica in early access, so I don't know how it was.
I did kind of. Thank you to Corey because
right, you guys did a stream.
Yeah, we did a stream and she's like, "I think you might like this," and I was like, "Oh hell yes!"
Oh god, that stream would have been in like Delta.
I think it was in Delta, and I was just like, "How did you know this is exactly what I want out of a video game?" Because I didn't know this is what I wanted out of a video game. But everything about the early Subnautica was just like, I love everything about this. Holy shit, this is going to be so dangerous. But we played it early on. I think it was even just they were calling it beta at that time. I don't even think they had referred to its early access or not. And it was the thing about what we were doing at that time.
That might have been even like because of course back then the term early access meant kind of different than what it does now.
It's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
And but like things that I got to do, it's like, well, you're in your pod and there's your flaming ship way over there. Like the real game opens up, right? So there's a big flaming ship, and you're in the pod, and it's like you need to make water and you need to make food. Not make water, but you know what I mean. You need to generate water. You need to generate food.
Well, clean water because
You know.
you're in an ocean.
Exactly.
so-
And then you're going to need to like make stuff. And so as I was playing with like, oh, you'll have to I made a sea moth eventually. Like I found stuff and I was able to make a sea moth and stuff. And it was like, this is really neat. I love everything about like the gun and the scanning of stuff and catching things.
Sounds like
right
what
and-
you were playing was proof of concept.
Yeah, but what was
Like a
weird
polished one,
because I
maybe,
never
but-
went anywhere outside of kind of the shallows, but there were like immediately some like drop off quite quick into some areas, and you see like a big fucking eel looking thing, and it's like that's gonna eat you, and I only gave it like about an hour or so, or maybe 45 minutes or whatever it was, but it all felt to me like I have some stuff that I'm doing. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I just know that I am doing stuff and playing with it because I'm treating it more like a toy than an actual game. And how I feel about it is that if you're going to put something into early access, especially like a sequel, right? But if something's going to go into early access, and I don't play early access games because I am a console gamer. We get games when they're done. Christ, I hope they're done. Mostly done.
We actually do get some early access stuff on consoles now.
Oh, do we?
Yes, but it will never be anything that you care about, so it's fine.
That's fair. I mean, the copy of
Not-
Subnautica
not
I have.
you, we.
Yeah, the copy of Subnautica that I have is the dual Subnautica Below Zero physical release. Like I waited to buy Subnautica.
Yeah.
But what I want out of anything that if it's going to be early access is that my expectation is all of your mechanics are ready. Like all of the stuff that's in the game that you can interact with, that's there and that's ready. What isn't in the game is the things you're supposed to achieve. That's the things where I'm like, that's like I wouldn't expect to find wrecked pods on the seafloor or anything in an early access game if that's supposed to be a story beat. I'm not expecting to find like, oh, and then we added some extra monsters here and there because we knew we had to do that, or like content, missions, like that kind of stuff. I'm like, if that's missing from the game, that's understandable but what I'm expecting to see is the larger bones and I mean, not even that. I'm expecting to see like a drywalled house is what I'm expecting to see. You haven't painted the inside and you haven't decorated with furniture yet, but I'm expecting to go into the house and be like, this is what the room's going to look like.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
in Subnautica, you'll definitely see some large bones.
Yes. So that's kind of like
Yeah.
how I feel. Is it's like you might not have a couch in this room yet, and you might not have painted or have the trim up, but it's like everything about this I can interact with, and I can imagine the spaces of what it's going to turn into, and that's where I feel like, yeah, if they're that far behind, if the development of Subnautica 2 is so far behind, they're like we have 10 fish
Yeah.
and 2 biomes, and there's not much else going on. Then you aren't ready for whatever.
The
early
only
access
thing I
is supposed to
feel
be.
like I consistently see in early access, because I still think people use that term all over the place,
Yeah.
is that it's not finished, which many games come out unfinished, and
Yeah.
they're not in early access, so that's fun.
Yeah.
And that the promise is that they are going to complete it, but you did pay money for it.
Yeah.
That's like the baseline I expect out of early access these days, which is why I kind of try to avoid it.
Like, I
'Cause
don't
some
think-
games are just like, it's basically done somehow. We're just tweaking weapons or like a playthrough
Yeah,
or something.
or
Or maybe we're not quite done the story yet.
Yeah, we're adding the story.
That kind of thing. But then there's other ones that feel like, no, we kind of have a proof of concept beta thing going on, but we need money to keep going, so we're selling it.
Yeah,
Kind of treating it like a
Like-
substitute
And-
for crowdfunding, or
and
really as crowdfunding.
Yeah, and I don't really even find that like a terrible thing, because it takes money, and if you're a small dev, maybe that's a way to go. But
I mean, I always get so worried about that. You know, it's same as the like Kickstarter thing, is that I get really worried that, especially if it's a game that you are interested in,
Yep.
that because the accounting is so different, right? It's like if you're releasing like Hades 2 is doing early access stuff.
Yeah.
From all accounts and from the little bit I've seen, it appears to be super cool and clearly they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they're like the first release in early access only had the first act, and then they sort of added more. They're like adding more and adding more things
Right.
and stuff. But like he's saying, the actual like gameplay loop they already had locked in. They're just sort of adding more
Yeah,
stuff.
they're making
Yeah.
tweaks to weapons based on feedback and stuff
But-
as well.
Okay.
But I do worry about that kind of stuff where it's like you're selling it in early access, people are playing it, enjoying it, all the stuff, da 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 da, and then you do that, and then it's like we did it, we made it, we're done, bam, here we go,
Yeah, 1.0.
1.0, and everyone and that's the typical development timeline. That's when your big influx of cash comes in.
Absolutely.
But you've already sold all the early access stuff, right?
Yeah.
You've basically borrowed against your
Your big release.
big release.
Yeah.
And I worry. I mean, it's the same as the the thing with Xbox, Game Pass or all these other things, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, they come out with a game on Game Pass and it's a huge AAA title that they put a ton of money into, and it comes out on Game Pass, and then so you look at like sales, don't actually look that good,
Yeah.
but everyone's playing it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Right.
We have 10 million downloads.
They're paying for it.
Yeah.
On Game Pass, but because Game Pass, you've sort of used you've taken the $80 or $70 or whatever and spread that across the whole development cycle,
Yeah.
which is fine as long as that's how you're accounting for it. If your accounting is hoping for a big influx, sudden, and now that's not happening,
Yeah.
then you're in deep trouble.
And I guess the more that you do something like that, though, then that's also like your accounting department will come to either they will step up to the early on and be like, we need money. And they're like, well, we can put it in early access. It's like, okay. But, then we all understand that you're not going to get a huge influx of money when the thing comes out so don't expect that later on. Because if you come back to me and be like, how much money did we make? It's like the same we always made. Like, you knew how much we made.
And I mean, there's been, and Mark does a thing, but there's at least one or maybe a couple articles that came out actually just recently of devs talking about that thing, this thing that Game Pass and those kind of things are not good for the for the developer market.
Right.
They're pretty good for consumers,
Yes.
but not necessarily good for developers.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend, right? If you have a very small game that people maybe wouldn't have checked out if they didn't have it on a service, there's potential for like word of mouth and that getting out there more, but
But
it kind of all ends up coming down to your marketing.
But then
as well.
but it is like I hope, and we don't know what the internals are, but I hope that people like, something like say, Hi-Fi Rush, right? Is the go-to example of a game that was super successful and then the company got
Shuttered.
Everyone got laid off. And it's like I can't help but think that if that was an actual release and they could be like, this game cost this much, this game made $200 million,
So it's hard to
but
say
maybe it
because
wouldn't have been as successful.
because let's say it did. There are lots of games that sell really well and still get just canceled and
Right.
outright because
Who
it's
knows?
like it's not enough. It's not making all the money in the world. It's not somehow we put $1 bazillion into it and expected to get 10 times that amount when that amount of money doesn't even exist. That kind of like there's too many complications of trying to.
Yeah. But
Would that have worked? Maybe. It might have been at least enough for them to not, but at the same time, given the way that they were kind of cutting other companies down, I don't know that that's true either.
yeah, I mean, but I do get concerned that that's not taken into account in the accounting for these things. But anyway,
Except you might also become used to that method and just being like, oh, it's like selling games as a service.
which is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
But then you have to be, if you're doing that, the problem if you're doing that as a company,
Yeah.
you have to have the sort of wherewithal and the sort of I guess the gumption to be like, okay, we're selling these things, whatever, $20, $30 a month.
Yeah.
We have to keep we have to keep spending a lot of money
Yes.
to put things on there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
But it's a single player game, sir, and when it releases, it's done. It's like, yes, but we are now
But-
in a position of having to.
but it's like, and it's like, if you stop spending money to put things on there, you save money for a while.
Yeah.
And then people start leaving, right?
Yeah.
And so having the institutional sort of idea that it's like, no, this is an investment. Yes, if we cut it down, if we cut off our development funding, it will show up. It won't show up immediately, but it will show up.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing and sort of seeing that it's a slight, the connection between money spent and money earned is slightly out of skew,
Yes.
but hopefully they understand that. I hope.
Yeah, I would hope. Because
But-
if you get used to it, you're kind of like, well, we always go to early access. We always know that we're gonna have sales trickle in over this time, and it's like we know we're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, but kind of not really, because what you're doing is you're saying to you're not really borrowing anything. You're saying I'm making all these sales ahead of time, and we're spreading out our sales before the release. And that's okay, because when we come to release, there will still be people who will crawl in after it to be a part of it.
I mean, that's all going to depend on who it is who needs to see your numbers, and because traditionally it's like the first week of your sales
Right.
determines how successful you were, right? But if you're early access and then you don't hit that thing at the 1.0, maybe it doesn't matter because maybe you're not with a group that cares, but maybe they do.
It definitely beats building construction, because the way building construction works is you say you're going to build a building of condominiums or something else, and then when you do that, then people who want to own parts of that building will come in and start buying the pieces out from underneath you to be like, well, we're ready to buy these pieces. And but you've been building a building for a while that not everything is sold in, and then just as the building is starting to get finished, now everybody starts rushing in to buy those pieces. And you're like, thank Christ, because I've spent the last 6 months or a year borrowing money from the bank to be able to pay people, but that's okay, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go build another building, and then I'm going to be selling stuff in that building. I'm going to be paying off my previous bills from that.
Buying an
though.
apartment that's being built, it's just the apartment's just in early access.
Yeah, essentially. You get to look at it from the street and be like, well, this will be great one day.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
but,
It's
I
I mean the game, like the place is basically done.
Yeah.
I mean it doesn't have part of the floor still, but that's going to be the
But
next
games
update.
do some of that where they're in the middle of it and they haven't finished it. They can't sell it. Then you need to get a publisher involved, or you need to try to go to Xbox and be like, what if we're day one Game Pass? Can we get some money in that way? Are we... Because you need to make at least something you can sell.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Even like a lot of games that do successfully on Kickstarter generally don't make enough money on Kickstarter to fund the full game itself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then they're going to somewhere else. Anyway, speaking of things that are concerning, Roblox. There's two stories about Roblox that are sort of related to each other,
Christ, I hate that they are.
which is unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, they're related to each other in the sense that the articles that I saw about them kind of related them together. So, the first, well, in fact, there's actually an additional part of this. But so the thing, Roblox, obviously, there have issues with predators, grooming, all that kind of nasty stuff, and there's a YouTuber that has been doing the sort of catch a predator stuff, pretending to be an underage person in the chat rooms and getting people, and then trying to get people, using, and ostensibly they have actually resulted in the arrest of several people
Right.
from local law enforcement stuff. Some of the stuff, there is a little bit of controversy around, this kind of vigilante kind of action.
Absolutely.
There's certainly stuff I've heard about the To Catch a Predator show that was highly questionable.
Yeah.
Well, and making content out of it too, on top of that, right?
Yeah. You're sort of, because you're making content and you're putting ads on your videos about the thing.
Well, because for like a less creepy thing, there are a lot of people who make content out of talking to people on the phone who are calling to try to scam and do stuff like that. And those are fun to watch because that's you're like, haha,
The shoe is on the other foot.
that kind of thing. But at the same time, I do think it's kind of weird to watch people make content out of it.
Yeah. So anyway, this guy, the YouTuber is
Schlep. Yeah. Okay.
He has banned. He got banned, and all his accounts got banned. And Roblox sent him a cease and desist to saying,
Please stop making content out of showing people that there are pedophiles on our platform.
I mean, I bet they would word it that way.
I mean, their argument is they claim the YouTuber is engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations, sharing and soliciting personally identifiable information, and directing users to move conversations off platform.
I mean, I guess that would all be true.
Yeah.
They contend that he is
Creating problems.
creating the problem by trying to shine a light on the problem.
Right.
And I would assume too, you could probably ban a bunch of the accounts for being multiple, because a lot of places have a thing where you can't just have multiple accounts,
Right.
and such.
Yes. Now, you say, and the pedophiles aren't doing that.
Well, I mean,
presumably
they would also be going after those people.
They're not making YouTube videos though, so
There's
they
that.
can't. So Roblox can't cease and desist them in the same way.
No.
Yeah.
I'm
Presumably,
assuming-
they would be. Ideally, they would be blocking all their accounts for having chat records like that.
I mean, I would also hope
Ideally,
ideally, you hope that what Roblox is doing is that when they see stuff like this happening, that they're also referring cases like that to law enforcement, that they're saying, hey, we've noticed this activity and we're ready to ban this person, but also what we're seeing is this activity and you should maybe follow up with that.
Who
knows?
One would hope
One
that.
would hope.
And Roblox, says that that's the kind of thing they're doing. They sort of not only responding to things, but sort of proactively doing stuff.
Yeah.
How much of that they're doing and whether it's actually effective or not is the big question.
Yes.
In fact, there's another aspect of this that actually
A more recent headline.
that I just saw
Louisiana.
from our from a tip from one of our mods that the state of Louisiana is suing Roblox for their activity. Roblox is overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. Which I feel like Roblox would be like, yes?
Well,
You mean we're not supposed to do?
Yeah,
Oh.
we're supposed to be growing. That's the whole point, right? Our shareholders want us to grow and do all these other things. And it's like, yeah, but also, dude, holy shit.
Also, the fact that that's the Louisiana crest.
Goes very good in this story, doesn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
wow.
Mhm. Yeah, we're trying to take care of our kids, and you're doing what?
I mean, I'm not. This is, I don't have any concern. I don't have any. I'm not endorsing the Louisiana governmental system. I don't know what they have going on there, but hey, I do favor people going after Roblox, especially since the other aspect of the story. So this was reported in Tweaktown, and in the story they're like, Oh yeah, this also relates to this other story that we just reported on, which they did. David Bazutsky,
I'm gonna say
was just recently on a podcast.
he's the Roblox CEO.
The
for
CEO
those who
of
don't know.
Roblox.
Yeah.
Cool.
He was just really on a podcast talking about Roblox stuff, and one of the things that he talked about, or one of the things that he's sort of gotten onto a lot, is the idea of Roblox as a wellness platform. So it's saying, young people have gotten disconnected at school. Young people who are going through a mental health crisis. Young people who are going through something. Finding people on Roblox to connect with. I mean, it sounds gratuitous to say it, but parents say my kid is alive because they found people on Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and to be honest, I don't doubt, Roblox. It's
because it's a platform and people can engage with each other, and therefore it's a social platform.
Yeah, and at its basic level, it's a chat room
Yeah.
Yep.
with avatars. Obviously, you can play video games and do all other stuff in it too. But at its basic level, it is that with all the bad and good that entails. Lots of people from, since the dawn of the internet, lots of people, I remember, when I was younger, people, you build up real relationships with people who you've only met online in various platforms. And I fully expect that a lot of people have built up very strong relationships with people that they met on Roblox.
Likely, yeah.
Problem, of course, is if the people that they met on Roblox are not the people who they think they are.
There's that too.
And there are better ways to connect with people. The part that starts being, that people start questioning is he goes on to say, I think there's a loneliness epidemic going on in the world. I think I'll go out on a limb and say, in quotes, 21 and up, ID verified, opted in users someday will have dating on Roblox.
Oh, right. This thing. No.
And I think
gross.
a lot of people who might be afraid to go on a real life date might find it easier to go on a virtual date to start. And then if they connect, move to the physical world.
People already do that.
A wellness platform. Think of it as a platform to help loneliness
Don't need
and
to
bring
do it through
connection. So, okay, so the two aspects of this. One, as this thing says, and as their own stats reveal, roughly 40% of Roblox player base is 13 and under.
Yep.
The other aspect of this, and I went and checked and listened to the podcast to make sure that this is actually how it actually is. So this
Because you want to be sure the quote is accurate.
I want to make sure and how this quote is actually how it's actually written here. And this is, he says, the words that the guy literally says is, I think I will go out on a limb and say, in quotes, 21 and up, ID verified, opt-in users someday will have dating on Roblox. The guy says the words in quotes as he's talking. Which I'm assuming is because, understandably, he wants to be very certain and very careful about him saying this kind of thing.
Yeah, you need to hear what I'm saying, and the thing I want you to quote is the part where I say 21 and up, ID verified, opted in.
Unfortunately, to me anyway, the way that reads is it says so for people who are 21,
Wink, wink.
When you say in quotes, it kind of sounds like you're doing sarcastic air quotes.
Yep.
Which I think he was not trying to do, but that's how it came across to me, I gotta say. But anyway, and I'm sure there are lots of 21. I mean, Roblox has been around long enough that people who were 13 are probably 21 now.
That's 8 years. That's 8 years.
Yeah, Roblox has been around for a while.
Right? But that means that if your user base now, 40% of your user base is 13 and under. So you can just assume they're all 13. Let's just pretend. That's 8 more years of them being in the product and seeing the fact, because it's a product, and them being in the product and seeing that there is dating available for 21-year-olds and stuff like that, and being around knowing that is an available feature, and also you're not being somebody who can take advantage of that at that point, and I'm like, boy, I mean, what if they're like, but what if I made an account that said that I was 21 years old, and what if I wanted to see what was going on in that side of the product, and I'm curious about seeing what's going on there.
It's just you don't need that side of the product.
You don't?
Like, for one thing, it'd be just like, we probably wouldn't be having this discussion of worry over it if we knew at all that their moderation was better about getting rid of the vile elements that they seem to be saturated with.
Yeah.
But it's a social place. People decide to date or not on social places. There are dating specific apps and people go there with that intent, but I don't feel like you necessarily need that setup.
And it's like, and there is this sort of aspect which I don't know necessarily even where I stand on it, but this idea that like a social place for children and a social place for adults should be two distinct places.
I agree.
Rather than just a sort of a gradient.
Yeah,
It feels like Roblox. Roblox is like Roblox and Fortnite are almost like trying to converge on the same idea that like our app, our game, our thing
is the everything.
will be the everything.
Yeah.
Either we'll all be Fortnite or we'll all be Roblox.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope those aren't the two choices.
It's not. We don't have to have these things be everything. I really wish people would stop trying to make these meta places where it's like, oh, it's just like our world, but we all hang out, we all do whatever, and like, not even reality do I do that.
But what about X, the Everything app?
Oh, I abandoned that ages ago. I deleted my account because I didn't even care if somebody pretended to be me on there.
There's a real room here for me to explore some controversy then. So how comfortable are we with starting to say controversial things?
How much time do we have?
Not that much time.
Can
Okay.
you keep it short?
So let's
Only maybe a little controversy?
Yeah. So let's
As a treat.
let's grain of salt this as well, right? It's like the conversation about
Grain assault.
Roblox or basically any other sort of like large online game is that naturally they grow into social spaces because you find the people, because if you don't do it there, you'll go to a Discord and you'll have a conversation about playing in that game, and that the Discord becomes a social space even though it is related to that thing. I mean, I think a lot of you out in the world using the Loading Ready Run Discord as a social space to talk about things that are largely not Loading Ready Run, but it is a way for you to interact with each other, and that's great. Mm-hmm. So, that's cool. Discord is that social space, but really it is Loading Ready Run is that social space. That, your interest in that is what's facilitating that. Because it's a shared interest. So if Roblox is your shared interest with other people, then naturally that's going to be the thing that you end up talking about. And I feel like there's a lot of room. Clearly, thefacebook.com was invented for the idea that, lol, I want to perv over the hottest chicks in Harvard or whatever it was, right? But there is that thing of, I don't want to go to the effort of having to go out and meet a whole bunch of people. Wouldn't it be great if all those people could just dump all their shit into my website, and then I could pick out who the hottest ladies are and then go meet them? That kind of idea. That point of, that's where we're coming from there. That means that if that exists at the 20-year-old, the 21-year-old level for post-secondary, that same motivation exists for the 16-year-olds, clearly, who are also very interested in trying to get laid. I don't know about the 14-year-olds. I can't say that in any way, but it's like, for anybody who's in high school, they're probably looking at this Roblox thing and being like, yeah, but I also want to do that I'm also interested in talking to people who share interests with me and stuff like that. And if there's a dating aspect to Roblox, then I might try to participate in it despite not being 21 years old. I might try to get into that side of thing. I'll lie about my account. I'll set up a second account. I'll do whatever so I can also meet other people. But even if you don't get to do that, like you said, an online space where people are going to interact with,
they just do those things.
They're just going to do those things. And that's going to mean that dating probably already exists in Roblox to a large degree, to people interacting with each other in a very safe way to be like, here's my internet boyfriend, my internet
Yeah.
girlfriend.
I had an internet boyfriend
Yeah.
when I was 16.
Yeah. And in a way it's like, I understand why parents and authority figures might be like, well, we need to also limit that interaction between kids like that because we don't want them to get groomed and ruined. But also, not every kid is going to be able to be in their school and be like, I found a group of friends that I lock in with. So they're going to go to online spaces and meet other kids from other areas, and maybe they're like local, or maybe there's somebody else at their high school they've never met before, or their junior high school they've never met before, or maybe in their own school that they've never met before because they're working, they're like part of a different class. They're in like a different grade 5 or grade 6 class, and they just want to make friends with each other. And it's like, this is so fraught, like, because doing it through an online space, it's like, naturally we're going to trip over all these problems. And the traditional way of doing it was, okay, but after school we all hang out and play floor hockey, or we all go to the library or something, or we all just happen to be in the same club, or we join a couple different clubs, or we have to be active in trying to interact. I'm in a play, I'm in the band, I'm in whatever. And it's like, yeah, and we've that's not going to catch everybody. And this Roblox thing sounds like, and this is the other place where, this is yet another place where kids will do that. And there's like online forums and if those still exist, and Discords
still
and
exist to
all
a
that
degree.
is all the places where that's going. And it's like, it's the kind of thing that just makes me go, yeah, there's so much opportunity for bad shit to happen.
Yes.
And I don't like the fact that Roblox is like, and now we want to actually set up a service to provide this kind of thing. And I'm like, that sounds like a terrible idea, because it sounds like so much is going to go wrong in a thing that you think you're going to be able to get right. That's not your core competency. But I don't know, like, mediating an online space is so...
Yeah, this is why internet literacy and teaching kids things is really important. And then also trying to make these spaces safer.
Yeah, and I really want kids to have the opportunity to say, I can find a place to go and interact online with other grade 5 students that are maybe in my city or whatever, because we can't meet, because we can't... This kid is from this school that's like across town.
I never went looking for kids my own age on the internet.
Yeah.
I just went looking for people who were interested in the same stuff as me.
Yeah, and you're not looking for a kid at all.
Not
Maybe even
necessarily.
thinking
I was
about how
just
old
looking
they
for
are.
people who wanted to talk about Sailor Moon
Yeah.
or RPG, because that's generally what we did.
And I mean, and you would hope that if you're not talking about anything,
I was definitely in a chat room once at like the age of 15 with a dude who kept trying to claim that he was the actor for Angel from Buffy, and that even
chat
though
room with David Bordenave,
apparently he kept claiming that, and I was just like, you sound insane. And he was like, no, it's totally me. I know that sounds fake and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it does sound fake.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can tell you what's going to happen on the show next week. I'm like, so can probably 50 other people.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah. There's that part of me that's like, you just want to slam the door shut and be like, hey, kids, what if you just tried to find kids in your own school that you could interact with? I'm like, you're always going to have one or two that can never break through that.
Oh, God, I
Yeah,
never wanted
and
to
that's a
interact
very-
with
that's
the kids
such
in
a-
my school.
Yeah.
it's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, allowing the freedom to meet people and engage with stuff while maintaining a safe environment is definitely it's a difficult problem.
And we've eroded a lot of social interaction spaces.
And unfortunately, yeah, and it's a difficult problem, and unfortunately, it's a problem that isn't well represented by financial incentive.
No.
So a place like Roblox.
Yeah. I mean, I sucked at playing soccer, but I was on after-school soccer teams that were like locally organized. So the whole
Yeah.
city was a part of, and so I met kids from other schools on my team.
I wasn't allowed to play sports.
That is a different...
I was too rough.
Yeah,
They didn't. Apparently, you're not supposed to body check people.
In what sport?
Volleyball.
Okay. They're not... They're on your team!
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
wait
they're
a
not
minute.
going to get to the ball fast enough, are they?
There's a net between you and your opponent.
I didn't say I was body checking the opponent.
I have never heard this before.
Oh yeah, I was a menace.
So it wasn't so much like it's like you're too much of a you're to get too into the game. It's like your teammates are like, we don't want.
To be fair, I basically was just always going after the ball, and other people were in my way. And yes, you're supposed to do a quadrant thing, but yeah, team sports are for suckers.
Work the zone.
Nah.
All right, that's so good.
Anyway,
Move on. Yeah.
let's move on from a game that too many people are playing to a game that nobody's playing because they can't, because it doesn't exist.
Right.
But it could hope, but we wished it would.
Okay, that's a lot of games, Paul.
This was just posted a little while ago, or somebody posted this a while ago. It's one of these like, somebody did up a proof of concept,
Yeah, mock-ups.
a mock-up
Okay.
of Sam and Max Hit the Road as it could be represented on a play date
Okay, cool. Yeah.
system. Anybody who doesn't know, Sam and Max is a super cool, or it was a super cool point and click adventure, and then there was a bunch of Telltale games of it as well. The play date, of course, is pure black and white, but this looks really good.
It's amazing.
And everyone is like, oh man, this looks so cool.
You know what's weird about this too?
I would totally get this. And it's like, there's a lot of steps to go through between this and actually making a game.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
A couple things about it. I didn't have a Mac back in the day, like the old black and white era Macs, right? I had seen them and was always like, why would I want one of these when my computer is in full color? You have a Commodore 64 at a time, and then you have like an actual PC with a VGA card, and it's like, why would anybody want one of these Macs? I have an appreciation a little bit more for this kind of idea now. And so there's that. It's giving me really like old school Mac vibes. I'm sure it'd be a lot of fun to play something like this. The second thing too is when they asked the creator about it, the person who mocked this up, they're like, well, I mean, we need to ask the creator of Sam and Max,
Yeah.
obviously first, if they're interested in seeing this happen. And then we need to ask Cable Sasser, who is head of Panic, and Nevin Morgan, who's the head of Playdate at Panic. And I'm like, I don't know if you'd have to ask them permission to make a Sam and Max game, though. Like, I don't think they need to be a part of development. They could be, because Panic has like backed games before, but it's like,
I mean, you might want to for the backing, but you might need to contact someone at Playdate to get, if like you're trying to get your game onto the proper store. But my
Yeah.
understanding with the Playdate is that you can just download games onto it, like side download stuff.
and you'd probably also have
but
to
like by
ask.
intention.
Yeah, but you'd probably also have to ask like whoever made the original Sam and Max Hit the Road, like that development studio, to be like, do you guys want to port this? Can I be a part of
depends
that?
on
Or-
whether or not they still have the rights for that
There's
kind
that
of thing.
too, yeah.
And
So, Steve Purcell is who made Sam and Max, and Captain Spam says, I feel Steve Purcell's pretty open to a lot of Sam and Max stuff. And did they talk to Steve Purcell in the article?
they didn't talk to him in the article. This image or this work was commissioned by Jake Rodkin, who is a former Telltale developer.
Oh,
so
cool.
Telltale was the company that made a bunch of this like Sam Max 3D games.
Okay.
And also he's a developer with Skunk Ape, which is they made the recent Sam Max remasters. Apparently they sort of
Skunk Ape was thinking,
communicated with Steve Purcell. Basically it's like, Jake showed this to you a while ago. I would make this game with both of you in an instant. Just say the word. So everyone's like, yeah, this will be super fun. It'll never happen, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like all the people involved are like, haha, that's super cool. Oh, yeah, we would totally do that.
yeah.
But for it to actually happen, somebody has to be like, okay, but seriously, where's how do we get money? How do we do this? What do we do? Stuff. Which
Would we even sell enough of it on the Playdate to make it worth
yeah.
it? Yeah.
So fundamentally, probably not going to happen. I do enjoy that. Anybody's played like Return of the Obra Dinn or that black and white pixel aesthetic. I mean, the Mac Plus black and white was like my first computer. So I have a lot of nostalgia for that kind of that aesthetic. So
that the person who did Obra Dinn also did games for the Playdate, right?
Yeah. They're I believe for Obra Dinn you can change the color.
You can
layout.
change.
So
you can filter it.
You don't have to do the green and black.
Right.
Yeah, you can filter it to all sorts of different
because I honestly have a hard time looking at.
So it's
style.
it's still all one bit, but you're changing the phosphors essentially to make it look different.
Can make it whatever two colors you want.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be quite the game.
It is. Return of the Obra Dinn is a great game. I highly recommend it. Let's see what else we got going on here. We mentioned this actually just in the intro to the episode of ChillPoint. But Battlefield 6 is just currently, speaking of early access, it's currently not in early access. I think they're calling it a beta or a preview beta or something.
Not in early access, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever, yeah.
They're doing like a series of sort of like
almost like a playtest almost.
Yeah, playtest.
Yeah,
Right,
open
okay.
playtest or a global
open
playtest.
betas, they call them.
Yeah.
Right.
As I said, a lot of these terms are starting to like have no meaning for me now.
Yeah.
Fair.
But I mean, from what people have been saying, very successful.
Great.
People have actually been very much enjoying it. Although I do like the amount of shade that the Battlefield developers are throwing on Battlefield 5. Like, there's a lot of like we really want Battlefield 6 to feel like a great Battlefield 3 or 4, like one of those.
Oh no.
Like,
All right,
there's been a lot
okay.
of references to making it like feel like the great battle, get that real Battlefield feeling, like Battlefield 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to be talking. I don't know. I guess Battlefield 5 was not. People didn't
Maybe
like
not
it.
well received, or
It was done by a different company. Like they do that like thing where different ones are produced by different companies.
Sure.
So, anyway,
So how's the open beta going?
it's going really well. People are enjoying it.
Yeah, I've seen.
in some cases, some people aren't enjoying
I
it
think
though.
I've seen James talk about playing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That looked like he was having a fun time.
In some cases, though, people are enjoying it in the wrong way.
Oh no! What does that
because,
mean?
Over 300,000 people, in fact, 330,000 people have been so far blocked from, or I should say, the Javelin anti-cheat system has prevented 330,000 attempts to cheat or tamper with anti-cheat controls. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's 330,000 individual people. I
Right.
guess.
They're seeing that many cheat attempts.
Just
and
one
then
person trying really hard to.
God, yeah.
Yes, Cheaters Georg has thrown off the. And say on top of this, players reported a further 44,000 instances of potential cheaters, and 60,000 in one day
Oh my
on
God.
August 7th, and 60,000 on August 8th. Now these are big numbers.
Yes.
Keep in mind though that there's like a million something people playing. Like,
Sure.
everything is big.
Yeah.
For this.
But also, they're alleged cheat attempts. So it's not like, oh, I know somebody cheated because of this. They might have just been like, oh, that guy shot me and he shouldn't have been able to. And it's like,
Yeah, well, I mean, even
Yeah,
he was.
with anti-cheat software, right?
Yeah.
There's it's looking for certain things that could just be somebody trying to change controls around, or
Yeah.
whatever it is it's looking for.
One of the interesting aspects of this is so anti-cheat, there's no sugarcoating it. It's a very hard problem.
yeah.
Anti-cheating, I saw somebody talking one time about it because it's like anti-cheat is one of the only situations outside of like viruses
Yeah.
where you are running software on a person's computer that they don't want to have running on their computer.
Right.
Because if you are not a cheater, you don't want to be wasting CPU cycles on anti-cheat stuff.
Correct.
And if you are a cheater, obviously you don't want anti-cheat stuff happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So 100% of people don't want this happening.
Was
Yeah.
Battlefield 6 the game that you can't play with Valorant at the same time?
So this is the thing, yeah. So one of the things...
If
what
you
they
try to
do-
play both games at the same time, it doesn't work, Beach.
Oh.
So one of the problems is that in order for anti-cheat to work, they've had to sort of go deeper and deeper and deeper into the computer.
Great.
Because if there's, fundamentally, if if you're sort of setting up, if the cheating anti-cheat software can't rely on the system, like if something boots up before the anti-cheat software,
Yeah.
it can provide a fake environment for the anti-cheat software.
Right.
And so you have to keep going earlier and earlier until we're at the point now where
It's running in ring
Yeah.
0.
it has to run in the...
No,
they
no,
actually
no,
have
no.
the what is it?
The anti-cheat becomes
the
your
s-
computer at a certain point.
they have to have the secure boot stuff where
Yeah.
it's actually running. It's like they're we're talking rootkit kernel stuff.
Yeah. TPM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so because the idea is that then it's got to be running before anything else can run that way. So, and which is obviously can be problematic. For one thing, there's this is software is running in a very protected area of the computer. If there are any bugs in that software or if there are any security flaws in that software, that's very bad.
Yeah. It's not about just messing up how your computer runs. It's more about giving bad actors a means to access your computer at a point where they shouldn't be able to do that because...
Yeah. All
Yeah.
kinds of things can go wrong now.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that, like I said, in order to do that, run the super secure thing. If more than one, lots of other games are also wanting to do that.
Right.
So they ran into this problem. The Valorant, which is made by Riot,
Yeah.
also wants to run in the secure boot system.
Right.
And basically they're both trying to patch each other.
Yeah.
And so whichever one starts first, the second or sees the second one try to go into the secure area and
Right.
goes, hey, there's a program trying to modify your
Yep.
secure area here. That could be a cheating program.
Oh, no.
Stop it.
Right.
Now, this is a problem. This is not a unique problem. Like, this is a thing that has happened before. It's worse now because of the secure boot stuff, which has gotten more prominent in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And also, because so many people are playing Battlefield 6, it's come up. And the other problem is that, so this was initially reported that you can't have Valorant and Battlefield 6 installed on your computer at once.
Jesus.
Like, you
Yeah,
have
but
to
that's
actually-
not it. It's
which-
that you can't run them both at the same time.
which turned out to not be true.
Okay, good.
So, but the problem is, so people are like, you can't run them both at the same time. And that doesn't seem like that big a deal because, like, why would you be running these two games
because
at the same time?
there's you have to wait for queues and things usually, right?
Well, but the other
Like
problem,
I assume
though,
that's what that is about.
the other problem, though, is when so there's a game like Valorant, and I think Battlefield does this too, again, because of this secure boot thing. One of the options, which I believe is default on, is to load itself when you boot the computer,
Right.
so that it's secure.
Right.
Ah, okay.
You don't have to have that. And if you don't have that, when you boot it up for the first time, once you reboot the computer, it will put itself into the right spot.
Right.
But then, if you then quit Valorant, it's still there. So it basically...
Because you might come back and play more
'cause you might-
Valorant.
so it basically... So from what I understand, if you want, you can have both Valorant and Battlefield 6, but you have to actually like restart your computer between playing. You don't have to uninstall it,
Okay.
but you do have to restart your computer if you want to switch from one game to the other.
I would just assume the more prudent course of action in this case, the thing that makes the most sense, is just buy a different computer for each game that you want to play.
Right.
Yeah, that would just be the better thing to do at this point, and I'm actually quite surprised that no one has suggested it until now.
I love the name. So it's yes. Oh, I see.
This is true. We have no control over what I say.
Vanguard is the Valorant one.
Yep.
Javelin is. They always come up with cool names.
Yeah.
Javelin is the thing. And Javelin is the Battlefield 6 anti-cheat system. The team at EA, is it EA or Activate? All right, EA, that is the anti-cheat team is called Spear.
Ah, okay.
So-
Yeah. So and
Cool names are very important. for
sword
these
and their
things.
shield.
Yeah.
And
That's
they
Pokemon.
fight Thanos.
Yes.
That's Marvel.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're having problem with playing Valorant and Battlefield 6, you may try rebooting between things. Also, yeah, maybe don't be. Also, try not to be a big cheater.
It's fine because when Battlefield 10 is released, you'll be able to purchase it by going to a local store and buying a black cube that you can plug a controller into, or a keyboard or a mouse. Maybe not a keyboard or a mouse. It's too many input options. So you get and then maybe you won't even get to plug anything in.
It'll all be Bluetooth.
It'll all be Bluetooth. So because that way you can really restrict on what's getting access. And you buy your black box that has a Battlefield logo on it, and you plug everything in, and then you have your controller, and you get to play Battlefield. And it only costs you $400 to buy your dedicated Ouya for Battlefield.
And people will be like, $400. I mean, if you look at
How much I pay in microtransactions.
If you look at inflation, that's actually pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say buy? I meant lease.
I mean, video
$19.99 a
games
month.
used to cost like $100 each, so nobody should care that they cost $100 now.
I fucking hate everything. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
I know. I hate all arguments.
Yeah. I shouldn't hate everything, but I just all of a sudden feel like I hate everything.
It's more efficient to just hate everything sometimes.
I don't play Battlefield and kind of don't care about this, and I don't play Valorant also.
No.
So
I'm
therefore,
talking more
but-
in the generalized thing of living. That sometimes it's just so tiring trying to figure out what you should hate or what you should like, and it's just more efficient to just hate everything for a while.
Yeah. This is that thing I read the other night about, like, why do we feel like this all the time? It's like, it must be all that cortisol that your body just keeps producing whenever you hear about stupid shit. And it's
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
supposedly exercise is a great thing. Do you want to play some volleyball with me?
I'm on the other team.
You want to be protected by
1v1. I want a net in between the two of us.
All right, we're almost out of time here. I did want to quickly talk about something that's very important.
Right.
The physical version from Limited Run Games of the Bubsy collection
For the Switch?
For Switch.
Oh yeah, it comes like with a plushie or something, or like I'm guessing the fancier version maybe.
Yeah, so you've got the standard edition, which everything I've read, you do get the game in the box.
Okay, good.
It's not a thingy. It's
Not a game key card.
not a game key card.
You just confirming that by looking in it. Includes a booklet.
I'm looking. Includes booklet, not for PC. Booklet, not to scale.
Okay,
All right, fair.
But anyway, yeah, if you're into Bubsy, you've got that one. You've got the deluxe edition, which gives you the soundtrack, a 2-side poster, and a PVC keychain.
people have got to stop giving out posters. I do not put posters on walls anymore.
There must be kids
It's
out here
a
who are into
two-sided
this.
poster, so you have to like choose which one.
And you get a deluxe box. Okay, so it doesn't say steelbook, but a deluxe box. Jesus.
Then the even fancier Impossible edition. You see that the paw
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impo-
It comes
I
in
mean,
a box with a
yeah.
big
If you-
horny kitty on it.
If you like that joke, you're gonna love Bubsy.
Because that's what you're getting all the time. What could possibly go
even-
wrong?
Even fancier deluxe case poster. Plus, you get the yarn. It's spinning ball of yarn pin.
Great. That's
Oh,
cool.
neat. Okay.
It
That's pretty neat.
spins.
a hardcover museum art and design book, individually numbered certificate of authenticity,
Great.
low poly Bubsy 3D figure. Great stuff.
I love the idea of doing
Gold X keychain award.
doing a low poly 3D version of him is actually very
That's
funny.
actually pretty good. Yeah.
And I have to also say, making a book takes work. So if that's a reasonably good looking book, when you crack it open, then fantastic. Then that is effort been put in.
And then they also are separately selling some Bubsy
Okay,
merch.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, sadly you don't. There isn't any edition where you get this.
Just the
I
t-shirt.
think maybe that's better.
Christ.
That is kind of
Bubsy's iconic T-shirt.
I mean, because that's the T-shirts were like your power-ups and your lives and stuff.
Were they? I don't quite
I
remember.
only- I only played the
color,
one.
The color drain out of the exclamation point or something.
Up in the corner or
Maybe.
something?
Oh,
I don't
it's
know.
been so long since
So
I've played.
weird.
I
All right.
when I saw that when things said there was a Bubsy like plushie, for one thing, I feel like it should be in the deluxe edition, but sure. why
Sure.
not?
Yeah.
I'm also very disappointed that it isn't like a suction cup hanger, like
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like a-
Oh
yeah,
my God, the
yeah.
Garfield suction cup.
Yeah.
like a parody Garfield suction cup thing. Like I think like that would have been perfect.
Yeah, especially if the suction cups it came with were actually just magnets. So they had magnets in the paws, so you could stick him onto the suction cups, but then you could also just take them off and have them sitting on your shelf if you want. You didn't have to sew them in. I wonder if anybody actually makes sewn-in suction cup plushies anymore. That might not even be a thing that
I think you can still technically get them.
that
Did
like
any-
there's like some factory in Vietnam that still makes those.
Did anybody ever other than Garfield make those?
I don't. There were a few.
No, I mean there were a few.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really excited about Bubsy merch now, but if I was like the 10-year-old kid or whatever that played the Sega game, then I would have been totally into a lot of this.
Yes. By the way, what you get is Bubsy in Fractured Furry Tales.
For the Jaguar, that
Ooh.
very on point.
Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind,
Yep, that's the one I played.
But I think
which
you
is
get
the original, I believe.
you get you get the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo version, I guess.
and the Super Famicom version.
I guess if it's in Japanese, then sure. yeah.
You get Bubsy 2
Right.
and Bubsy 3D.
And Bubsy 2 was on Game Boy, Sega Genesis, and Super Nintendo, meaning that you're getting like if you're getting the Game Boy version and the 16-bit version, that's crazy as well.
Although the fact that those don't have pun subtitles
Yeah.
is very disappointing.
Yeah. They put in as much effort as they always did.
Anyway,
I was never a fan of these games. Anyway, I'll stay.
I liked the one I played well enough.
yeah, I remember it being kind of
wasn't
like a
you
general.
know, it wouldn't be like a game where I'd be like, oh yeah, that's going to be on my like top 100 games of all time in my lifetime list
Yeah.
or anything. But I remember enjoying it.
It would be kind of a passable platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played
I
any of the
probably-
other than the first one.
I would probably not like it now, given the other platformers I've played. But
Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. That's all the news that I thought worth to mark. Although I did want to actually shout out to Digital Foundry, who, of course, they do tons of great content about comparing different the sort of real tech stuff about like, does the frame rate of this matter? How does this actually work? What components might be in this all that kind of stuff, like the real nitty gritty things.
Frame rates and resolutions and color and
And big shout out to them because they just went independent, breaking off from IGN,
yes,
which is great because IGN has also been laying people off. So great job and more power to them to continue to do their good work.
good luck. I hope you stay afloat.
But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. If you haven't watched this week's episode of ChillPoint, you should do so. It was very funny. And it is up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it's probably near
the
this
same
video
channel.
somewhere. It's the same channel. You're here already.
well, maybe. But you could go to that channel and subscribe if you want or not, or do whatever.
Or become a member of that channel and you can support us monetarily. Where the list is getting longer. We're going to have to start scrolling through the names on every checkpoint or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Make 'em
when
smaller,
when
do
it gets
something.
to that, Paul, I'm gonna have to ask you to show me how to do that again because we
Okay.
made that option like ages ago, thinking people would subscribe a lot faster.
And also patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, and we'll show you guys the scroll in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.